In this video, we are assembling the Rose Bouquet envelope box card. So there are lots of pieces for the roses. I mean, there's 3 pieces for each rose. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's 8 roses. Okay, so there are quite a few pieces. They're not difficult to put together, but just know going into it that there are several pieces. Okay, so I have been alternating. I'm going to show you how I put the roses together, and then I've been alternating back and forth these front petals that are on the back. On one time it's the one on the left, on the next time it's the one on the right. That's just what I've been doing. So I've been using a little foam circle here at the bottom. I'm going to put some glue here on the top part of the petal. And I'm lining it up by the top part of the petal, just because with the foam tape there, sometimes it can make the alignment just slightly off. And just squeezing that down. Then on the top one, I'm putting glue on the bottom and then glue up on the petal. There's no point putting it here in the center because that's not touching anything. And then I'm just squeezing here at my thumbs, the bottom, and at the top. And it just gives a little bit of dimension. And that's how I'm putting those together. Okay, so again, I'm using a foam circle. I got these off of Amazon. I would caution on these because a lot of my circles are drying out and they're not sticky. I mean, some of them I still have to, you can use them, you just have to use the glue. And it is convenient to have the circles sometimes. So, and I am applying the pressure there on the foam tape too, because I want to make sure, since some of them are losing their sticky, that it is adhered. Okay, so you can see it doesn't really take long to put those together, but it takes a little bit of time. I'm doing these first so that they have time to dry, especially this top part, because it's got pressure against the part of the foam tape, and I wanted to make sure they didn't start coming apart when I'm putting the card together. So I wanted to get all my roses done first, because typically I start with the box of the box card. Okay, so there's all my roses. I did the same thing with my small rose, and that might be a little too thick. I'm not certain how it's going to look when I get it on there. And I was thinking I might try to put my green maybe into it. I'm not sure, but I'll look at that when we get to the front. So here's your 2 inserts. The tall one is the back, the short one is the front. Set those aside for a minute. Pull in the card base. Typically what I've had on these cards is just a little rectangle on the back for writing your message. I've changed that to a piece that fits the back. So it's a little bit smaller than the liner for the inside. That's how you'll tell those apart. I'm going to go ahead and put this panel piece on this one. Okay. Now for your card base, you just want to fold on the score lines. And then I like to go ahead and put these together. Let me and I'm only going to put together one side. Okay, and then lay this down flat and put on my panel pieces. I noticed after I cut it and I was placing the pieces just to see if I could use this pattern on the inside that you really can't see the back of this card, this particular one, because the roses are so full. So you could even leave the inside decorative panel off if you want. I don't think it's going to add a whole lot, but since I had already cut mine, I'm going to go ahead and put mine in. Then this piece centers at the bottom of the front. Okay. So if you want to go ahead and put your panel on the back while you have it, so this gives you a lot more space than just the little rectangle did. You're just going to center that on the back. It is a little bit smaller again than the panel that goes on the inside. I just don't know if, let me see what this would look like if it was showing. Yeah. Okay. Just make sure not to get it on your score lines. And there is a slight border all the way around. Okay, so now we can set this aside for a moment and we can work on our inserts. Now I also think I am going to pop some of my flowers up. I'm going to grab my foam squares here. on a roll. My roll got away from me, so let me roll this back up. Okay. So what I'm gonna just check first. Now, when you look at this, you can see there's a curve here. This is the top of your rose, okay? So I'm going to put these two down first. And I think I'll put these two down flat. And then I'll pop the one that's in the center. Okay. And so my foam tape does not go where these flowers are. I'm going to put it, lining it up center right here to that, and I'll place my flower on it. That way I know I have it in a good position. And there it is. Okay. So this is the front piece that is done. Now we're going to pull in the back. And I just want to place these just to see how they lay. See where they overlap. Okay, so they do overlap slightly, so I'm going to start with the two outermost edges. And again, just like the front, it's the curved spots here, so you know where they go. And I think I will use foam squares here. And I'm going to put it again right where the curves are. And I think on this one, I will double up my foam. Make sure to put it towards the top. There. And so now the back is done. I'm going to start with the back. I'm going to lay it down flat here across the back of the card. You can see this is the side. And then I'm going to put glue on this tab. I'm just going to push the side over and it'll glue right where it needs to be. Make sure it's pushed right up against the side so that it's glued correctly. So again, just stand your card up. You can see I've got the back, the side, the front. My tabs are out flat. I'm going to lay it down right across the back and then glue it into place. It's going to take a few extra seconds for this because of the foam tape. And you just want to make sure that it's gluing where it should. Make sure it's straight across the bottom. Now your next piece is gonna, you've got your dimension here, so you're gonna have to be careful when you do it. We're gonna do it the same way as the first one. The most important thing is to make sure you've got it right up against the edge, laying flat. And then, so you've got to just kind of let it pop up a little so that it's gluing down in the correct spot. Get it stuck. Make sure it's lined up straight. Then for this side, we're going to leave the card laying flat. You can see I've got my 2 tabs here, and I'm going to put glue on them. You want to get close to that line, but not too close to your score line. You don't want the glue going over and gluing your layers together. So you can see I've got my 2 tabs with the glue. Okay, then I'm going to take this side, and this is the piece right here that I'm gluing it to. I'm going to leave this side flat. I'm going to bring this over, and again, you're being mindful of your extra dimension in here, so you really need to be pushing this down so that it's gluing in the proper spot. Then we're just going to glue it to the opposite side, and then carefully fold it the other direction. And there it is, and you can see how the backing, the back layer doesn't even really matter because it doesn't show. Put glue on this tab and close it up. We're just going to slide this under here. Fold it both ways. And then we are going to add our flower for the front. And I think it keeps falling. I think I'm just going to put it right here on the corner. And I have some smaller dots here that I'm going to use. I'm just going to put this right here. And there is the Rose Bouquet box card. Thank you for joining me.